It's Your Call is proud to introduce this special series dedicated to issues facing women in 2011 and beyond. Gender equality, leadership, violence against women, and health are just a few of the topics we discuss in honor of Women's History Month when we put the focus on women, and it all begins right now. You know, women are traditionally the caretakers of everyone in their lives, their kids or their grandchildren, their partners, and more, even their parents. So who's taking care of the ladies? Well, the answer is usually no one. But today we're going to change that when we put the focus on women's health, and it all begins right now. Hello again, everyone. It's great to have you with us as we finish up our salute to National Women's Month with the final episode of our Focus on Women series. I'm Lynn Doyle, and as you know, we've been talking about issues of real concern to women in 2011. Some of these issues have been gender equality and gender pay, how women could be better leaders or by becoming a leader in the first place. We've talked about domestic violence and marital abuses, and now another vital topic, your health. I know for a fact that many of you do not take your health as seriously as you should, and I'm here to tell you that has to change. The advice that we're going to give you in the next half hour could not only change your life, it could save it. There are things that you could do right now, today, and there are no excuses good enough not to do them. I have a couple of great guests who have your best interest at heart. Emma Vogt is a nutrition consultant specializing in working with women and corporations, and Dr. Angela Ray is a family medicine physician practicing in the Moorestown, New Jersey office of Cooper University Hospital. Ladies, thank you so much for being with us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
I am very excited to hear what you girls have to say, because I, for one, think women make excuses not to take care of themselves. And I know, Dr. Ray, that you see this all the time.
Right. I have a lot of women who say, you know, I'm busy taking my children to their doctor's appointments, you know, taking care of my parents, things like that. But for a woman to be an appropriate and helpful caregiver, she needs to take care of herself first.
So no excuses, is going to be the first piece of professional advice that you
right,
give.
You can do it.
And I would even add to that. I think women do need to take care of themselves, and a big part of that is nutrition and what you're eating. Plays a big role in how you're feeling and the quality of your life as you get older.
Okay, so we're going to talk about things that you need to be doing in terms of seeing a doctor and tests that need to be done, and we're going to give you advice that you could use every day by telling you what you should and should not be putting in your mouth. Okay, so let's start with the medical aspect of it. How often should women of any age be seeing a doctor?
At least once a year. And during that once-a-year appointment, that can be considered your yearly physical. And that's when you'll discuss family history, you'll go over cancer screenings, simple blood tests to just see what your risk factors are for heart disease, diabetes, high cholesterol.
So when you're talking about a once-yearly visit, does your visit to the GYN constitute that annual checkup, or are you talking about seeing a primary care physician in addition to your gynecologist?
I think seeing the gynecologist is fantastic. It does cover GYN visits for screening for cervical cancers, but you should also see a primary care doctor who can look at your health from a more holistic point of view.
Okay, so we're talking about having some blood work done, and I don't want people freaking out because they're like, oh my God, I don't want to go to the doctor and have all of this done. But what are we looking for when you have blood work done?
We're looking for your cholesterol levels, your fasting blood sugar levels, and your kidney function and your liver function test.
Okay, why is it important to know how all those things are working?
Right, because then you can pick up whether you have become a diabetic, or if your cholesterol is really high, then you can start intervening at that point. And the whole goal is to control your risk factors early, before you have the heart attack, before you have the stroke.
And in just a minute, we're going to talk about how food plays such a great role in all of that. But I just want to wrap up what it is that we're going to get accomplished on this annual visit. So you get some blood work done, you talk to the doctor, you tell him how your body's changing, good things that have happened, bad things that are happening, depending on what age you are. What else might we expect to accomplish?
So depending on your age, we'll also talk about cancer screening. So right now, the standard age to start mammograms would be age 40. Colon cancer screening with preferably a colonoscopy starts at age 50. When you turn 21, you can start your cervical cancer screenings with the Pap test too.
Okay, and these are all things that take very little time, but if you're on top of it and
Right.
ahead of it, could
Right.
actually be life-saving measures.
Right, and a lot of my women say, you know, well, I'm feeling great, I have no symptoms, why should I come to the doctor? And the whole key is to do preventative measures, because a lot of times you won't know something's going on until it's a little too late, or, you know, the treatment plan will become so intense because the disease process has already gone through.
Well, nothing can be more preventative than eating the right foods to start with and making yourself as healthy as possible. And a lot of women don't eat well, even though they're the ones preparing the meals, right?
It's so true. I think that many women feel very stressed out about preparing food, buying food, and getting it on the table, but I don't think it has to be that difficult.
Really, give us some examples of how it's not so difficult when you're running the kids from school to soccer practice, over to choir, church practice, whatever it happens to be. I mean, a lot of people think, oh my gosh,
It's
really
overwhelming.
overwhelming, yeah.
I think, you know, part of it is thinking very quickly, smartly, going to farmers markets, looking at one location to shop for whole foods and vegetables and fruits and things like that. Another thing is to use your freezer. Freezers are fine. You can get so many things in there and pull them out at the last minute for a fabulous dinner.
And how important is it that women in particular get the nutrients and the vitamins that good food provides, especially if we want to keep ourselves as healthy as Dr. Ray says we need to?
Oh, what a good question. I think one of a big preventative measure for women is to look at calcium. It's the bone building mineral that all women need, and especially after menopause, we're really losing a lot of calcium in our bones. And so if we're looking at foods that are going to supplement, we need to look at dairy foods like milk or yogurt or kefir. That's something that's new on the shelves. It's a yogurt drink. Even almonds have calcium and broccoli as well.
Okay, so calcium is obviously a big role. We're going to talk more later in the show about specific foods that you need to incorporate in your diet. If you have questions or comments about this topic, you can go ahead and start to email me right now. It's lynn@lynndoyle.net. We do have a lot of questions that we've gotten already, and we're going to share some of those with you and hopefully get some great advice. Do you find that weight is one of the #1 concerns when a woman comes in to see the doctor and says it's just out of my control?
Right, and the good thing to note is that a lot of it is within your control, so that feeling of empowerment that you can adjust your weight, because 2/3 of Americans right now are overweight or obese. So, you know, the first thing you can do is just to know what your body mass index is. And that's a simple height to weight calculation. You can find it online, or your doctor can calculate it for you. So at least you know what your goal weight should be. And then making slow steps through, you know, educating yourself about nutrition and then incorporating exercise into your daily routine.
Okay, I know a lot of people hate that visit to the doctor when they ask you to step on the scale and then they compare it to the last year.
Right.
I'm now to the point where everything's coming off: shoes, belt, any extra
Right.
clothing, because I don't need anything else helping me on that scale. But it's nerve-wracking for a lot of women.
It is nerve-wracking. I mean, we know that after 30, our metabolic rate decreases by 5% per decade, so we have to work harder to keep our same bodies.
Like we don't have enough to work at. Now we have to work even harder.
But the good news is it's doable. To prevent weight gain around the middle, one thing is to look at exercise. You know, like Dr. Ray said, to exercise an hour a day are some of the new guidelines that are coming out, and to include weight training with that twice a week.
Okay, we're going to talk more about that, more about great nutritional advice for you, and we're going to answer some of your medical questions, but we have to take a quick break. I hope that you'll stay with us. We'll be back with 2 minutes with information that will help you be a healthier woman. Stay with us.